Hi everybody, thanks for dropping by, coming over for another visit. For those of you who saw part 2 of my March Orchid collection and let me know that it is not playing, thank you so much. I've since removed it. I checked it to see what was going on. In editing, it plays all the way through. In the video editor for YouTube itself, it plays through. So I'm not sure what happened, so we're going to redo it. So let's see what's going on with the rest of the Orchid collection for March, even though it's April, close enough to the beginning of April, end of March, we can call it March. So let's go take a look. Okay, so we are going to start right here with my Phalaenopsis, who I got back last April from Orchid Web. And can you see what I see? She has finally decided to grow me some roots. She's got about 6 roots in the pot, and this is the first growth I've seen on her since I've gotten her back in April of 2021. And then this one here is the, let's see if we can get it in focus. Here we go. Maybe. So this is the Phalaenopsis Tesco date crossed with DTPS Pure Moon, and DTPS is been reclassified as a Phalaenopsis, so it's a Phalaenopsis Pure Moon. Either way it goes. But she is really putting out the roots. I still don't see any in the pot itself, but they are going down into the pot, so she should be doing rather well this season. She's finished this growth here, and I don't see, let's see if we can see a leaf coming in. Nope, I don't see any new leaf or anything like that. And then in my nose right now is my beautiful Twinkle here, who, because of the multiple spikes that she has just been pushing out just bloom after bloom after bloom. And she also has, let's see, she's got a growth there, and then she's got one right there kind of in the back there. Can you see it? So she's got 2 on that side, and then there are, let me put her down, there are 2 on this side that she's doing, and it is watering day. I'm doing some maintenance right now. And then back there is my other Twinkle that has already bloomed, and I really think they're the same one. So I'm hoping that the next bloomings are together so I can compare the flowers. Because one's supposed to be the Fragrant Fantasy and the other one is supposed to be White Fantasy. But to me, they look and smell the same. And the smell is just delicious, but you got to be up close to it, so it's not going to overpower the room for those of you who are sensitive. But this one here does have this growth right here in the middle that is working on her bulb. And then back here, she finished that one growth and she's starting on another. So the last growth that she finished, she did not bloom from, but that's all right. Then we have the little Phalaenopsis cakeys that are all working on new leaves and lots of root growth. And then we have my BCT Hawaiian Treat. That is just exploding with growth, and I am going to mount her on to a bigger piece of cork like this because she's still not attaching to this smaller piece of cork, even though I strapped her in. So I will be doing that, especially now that I see new roots coming in off of some of those growths. And in the last video, Miss Spots was in her glory. And, well, she is going out of her glory, so I will be cutting her spike after the video. Even though she has that one bud still left to open, I don't want a big, long spike with just this little one flower on it. I'll go ahead and cut her so that she can work on her vegetative growth for this growing season, because spring through summer is growing season for Phalaenopsis, and they'll bloom for you in early fall. Early to mid-fall once the temperatures drop, if you can give them that cool down. And we have this one here that I bought in January of this year that I forgot to name or even put a description on, but she is absorbing this leaf, and as you can see, she's got some new roots going down into the pot, as well as working on a new leaf for me. And then we have the DTPS, or like I said before, Phalaenopsis Winter Clouds. At least that's what she was sold to me as, Mendenhall. I've not seen her flowers in a very, very long time. I got her back in 2019. I want to say she's a white one, but the good news is she is starting to swell her buds, so should be able to see those probably about another month before anything opens up. And we have Miss Kaleidoscope here in her full-on glory. Isn't that just beautiful? Let me just zoom in on her real quick. I absolutely love that stripe. Sorry about that. Striping, and then the little spotting, and then her little, it's a salmon lip. It's not pink, it's like a salmon color. Just stunning. And we've got Narova here, which I broke her spike. And do you see? She said, it's okay, I'm gonna keep producing some buds off of that spike, lady. You tried to break me, but I'm gonna keep on going. So those blooms will be open, I'm gonna say either tomorrow or at minimum by Wednesday. And then my little white one that I recently repotted, and then Art Deco that recently repotted. They're both kind of recovering from their repots, both doing rather well. So now let's go into here and see what's going on with those ladies right there. All right, be right back. So I did move the jewel orchid in here because I think where she was sitting, she was getting way too much light. They prefer a more, I don't know, diffused lighting. So I put her over here and she's actually doing a lot better. As you can see, those two leaves right there on that right one, right there, that's what was happening. And the one to the left had lost a couple of leaves. Well, since putting her in here, that has stopped and she has perked back up. And let's go over here and talk about my Zygonicia. So this is the Zygonicia I can never say this, Murasaki Kamachi. But there she is. So last time I videotaped her, I did the repot, and she has bloomed for me. Beautiful, beautiful blooms. If I can find them, I'll post them. And let me just turn her around real quick. So over here, she had a new growth, and I broke it trying to clean the sheaths. But I found, see if I can move this out of the way, another new growth right down there, as well as this new growth right here. And both of those new growths are coming off of the back bulbs here. So thank you, Michael McCarthy, for letting me know it's okay to bury them a little bit deeper, because that was a concern, and possibly get some growth off of back bulbs. And that's exactly what has happened. So thank you so much for that advice, and I'm glad I took it. So over here, we've got the community pot of the two orchids, who are still doing really well. I'm really shocked. Their leaves have not softened at all. They're not drooping. Roots are still good. I did take them out just to double check their roots, and all of these roots that you see right here are aerial roots that I put into the pot. So not bad. I mean, they had roots on them as well, but the aerial roots have not decided to go bye-bye. And then we've got Pom-Pom here, who she's not going to bloom for me this year. If she does, it'll be a complete surprise, but she's doing lots of vegetative growth, so she's got plenty of spaces to give me a bloom next season. And then let me show you guys something. This is so weird. So I'll post a picture, because I did take a picture, but so there was a leaf right here, and the spike, if you can see it, do you see the spike? Was wrapped into the leaf, and this portion right here was stuck to the stem. So it is growing. I don't know if it'll go ahead and bloom, but I'm thinking I may go ahead and cut her just to have her work on some vegetative growth, because she's only got 5 leaves now. Because cutting into that leaf, trying to release this spike, I ended up taking the whole leaf off because I just cut too much. But she's got lots of new root growth going on, so I may just go ahead and cut that spike. But I'm kind of interested to see if it's going to continue. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. And then we've got this lovely lady here. So this one is the one that I put in LECA back in June of last year, 2020. And since I've gotten her, she has grown this leaf here, this one, and then this was her latest. So that's a total of 4 leaves since June. And I'm sure you guys can see it. But just in case, I have a spike. Look at that. That is amazing. I will also post a picture of her, and she's got lots of roots in the pot. And anytime you have a spike that is growing, if you don't want that spike to go all over the place and wiggle and, you know, get all twisty, make sure you try to put your plant back in the same position. And then I like to use just a little piece of cardboard to kind of shade the backside to get it to go the way I want it to. And she's sitting in front of this southwest facing window. And then we have, let me move this one out of the way real quick. Oh, I'll put that back later. Then we have Miss Shamatsu, who I had made a comment that she was either going to make it or she was just going to have to go. Well, look at there. We have us a new growth that is still growing. So I think she's decided she wants to stay in the collection. I've had her since February of 2019, and she's slowly but surely losing all of her leaves, but she's got this new growth to kind of take over. So hoping that works out. Move that one. We'll talk about that in a second. And then we've got the Phalaenopsis Hung Shen Red Apple, who is working on another leaf here coming out, doing really well. And she is in a moss and bark mixture. So I let the moss, once I see the moss is almost dried out, then I will give them some water. And that's been about once a week. So about every 5 to 7 days. Now, let's talk about the elephants in the room that I keep moving out of the way. So I recently received an order from Big Leaf Orchids, and one of them is this lovely Cattleya in front of us. It is the Cattleya YNS Green Leopard, which is a love bourbon crossed with, I think you say that as Thospole Spot. Anywho, so she did arrive in a nursery pot with the moss, and the pot was broken, so I did put her in here back in the moss because, as you can see, she's a bifoliate, and for those of you who grow Cattleyas know that those little suckers get mad if you don't repot them at the right time. So I have her still sitting in here very loosely with moss, waiting on some new roots. Now she does have these two right here, this one and then that one right there going into the moss, that are fairly new. So I'm thinking perhaps I could go ahead and pot her into my media of choice, because like I said, these were just going into the moss when I got her, and they are coming off of the latest growth right here. So I'll have to think about it. And for those of you who've grown Cattleyas for a while, let me know if you feel like that now would be a good time to put her in my potting mixture. And then over here we have the Phalaenopsis Jaya Ho Summer Love. This one here has the most beautiful white flowers with purple accenting on them. They are gorgeous. And she's fragrant, so that just makes her even better. So she still hasn't relaxed her leaves any from when she was shipped. And her leaves are fairly stiff, so these may or may not relax. I'm hoping they do, so that when the new growth comes out, she doesn't look too wanky. But if she does, I am fine with that. But I am waiting on new roots for her to put her in my mixture that I like to keep my novelty polychilous summer bloomers in. And then, guys, so I have been looking for an Abonensis, and I'm sure I'm saying that incorrectly, for a while. And I saw this one, and the name is just to die for. So this is the Phalaenopsis Abonensis Tiger. Is that not just the cutest? And the bloom has striping on it like a tiger. It's just cute. All right, enough of that. So then this is the Tadia, what is this, Tadia Blush? Yes, so this is the, get it in focus here for you guys. Maybe. Come on, there we go. The Phalaenopsis Tadia Blush Tadia Pink Lucky that I got at either Lowe's or the grocery store. And she is just, look at this. Let me just, hold on, let me take her out of here. I have got to show you guys these roots. Like this chick here is, these roots are just ridiculous. Look at this. Look at this. She's just coming out of this pot all over the place. So that's why I have those rocks down there at the bottom to help kind of not crush those roots, and plus to kind of create extra humidity for those aerial roots. But she has finished off this leaf right here over the winter, and I don't see anything new coming out quite yet, but that's all right. And again, any that I have pictures of, guys, that are mine, I'll post. And then here is the recent repot of the Macotes, who is still doing really, really well. As a matter of fact, those two leaves that I thought were dying are still actually on the plant and looking like they're getting a little stronger. And my idea of the inner pot absorbing water to keep the moisture even in there has worked, and there is some moss exposed to help with the humidity around her. Back here we have, I think this is the Shin-Yi. Let me pull her out and see. Let's see. Yeah, Shin-Yi heart, and as you can see, her growth is just getting much bigger as well. And then since we're down here, let's just chat about these girls here. So these shelves look a little sparse because I am trying to find spots for some of these guys so I can use these shelves outside. I'm trying to be economical and not spend money if I don't have to. But this one is the Spring Pleasure, the one with the most fans, and she too is working on that leaf. I don't see the next one coming up quite yet. And then this one is the sibling for these guys here. And originally I wanted to put them all three in the same pot, but since this one is kind of growing sideways as well, and that one was growing sideways, I just didn't want to make it too tidied in there. And then this one is my Macrobay Pops, and again, really doing well, still in its nursery pot, but it is doing really good. And it is starting to absorb the older plant, which is natural, guys. So if you have a Pathiopedilum and you see it absorbing a leaf, don't stress too much as long as it's on the old growth. If it's on a new growth, then be concerned, because then there might be an issue. And we have Phalaenopsis 2.0 Larksong here that my daughter purchased for me shortly. Oh, I don't know, when was it? I know it was 2021. In August of 2021. I thought it was later than that, but she is just putting out all kinds of roots back here, and she's finishing off this leaf here, and I don't see anything going on in there, but that's all right. I keep saying that's all right. I need to stop. That's annoying. And then back here, we've got the Dendrobium Second Love, which, being a nobly type, I'm going to kind of keep her in subdued light for the growing season, and she is working on a growth right now, but I'm going to keep her kind of in the subdued light for the growing season and then put her in brighter light during the winter time to see if I can get some blooms next spring. And then Morgan 2.0, nope, this is just Morgan 0.0, hardening off her latest leaf growth there. Don't see any spikes or anything like that, so I may have to wait till next year. And up here, oh, the sun's in my eyes. I am going to close this blind because I can't with the sun. Let's see, this one is Pinky, and she is getting ready to start a new leaf in there. Can you see it? And she just recently finished this growth here. And then she's got an aerial root coming right there. I kind of got a little excited. I'm not going to lie. I thought it was a spike at first, but after about a day or so, I was like, nope, that's a root. And then Sarai 2.0, still working on her new leaf, and she does have roots in the pot, so she is on her way to recovery. And then this one here is Sunshine. This one is the really bright yellow one that I had in a smaller pot, pot similar to this one here. Sorry for that swing. So I had her in this size of a pot, and she was already outgrowing it, so I put her in this orchid top pot. For those of you who wonder, yes, you can repot while an orchid is in spike. You just have to be very diligent, careful not to let it dry out, all of that good stuff. But We will visit again just to see if she does go ahead and continue with that spike, or does she abort it because of the repot. We'll kind of see if we can debunk some myths. And then for this lady here. So this is Mel Starr. She's got big, giant, just all yellow, just sunshine yellow, like you would use a crown when you were a kid to color the sun. Yellow, beautiful, waxy, big, fat, pouchy lip. Oh, she's just gorgeous. Well, let me turn her around so I can show you guys something here. So she had finished off her growth, and she started growing this leaf here. So sometimes when they do that, that means that there could be a spike with it. However, I don't feel anything in there, so that may just be a leaf and she just took a rest from finishing it off. I'm not sure, but I'm going to keep a very, very close eye on her. So I've had her since February of 2021, and she was in bloom when I got her. Well, she was in bud and then opened up her bloom. And the bloom lasted a few months, and then I repotted her into this mixture here, which is different than the other ones. The other ones are in bark perlite, moss, and charcoal. This one is just bark, charcoal, and lots of perlite, and she's done really well in here. I may have to repot her this year, though. They say they like to be freshened up every year, so I'll have to do a little more research and see. And the other thing before we go that I forgot to tell you about Miss Ebenensis Tiger here is she has a spike. So we should be able to see her blooms in a few months. I am keeping them in here just to let them acclimate to my home. I don't want to put them in the bright light that I normally keep the girls in. So once they get acclimated and I repot them into my media of choice, that's when they'll go to their permanent home. But for now, this is kind of their little temporary home. I'm going to turn this off, and then we'll come back with the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your life. Okay, maybe not the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your life, but this thing is beautiful. Let me get her out of the kind of pink light of the Barinas and show her in her natural light. This is the Summer Rose Blue Star. Oh my goodness, let me set this down. My hand is shaking a little bit there. Let's see. Look at that. Is she not beautiful? Oh my goodness. She's so delicate. And it looks more pink on the screen from what I'm seeing. In person, it is a more kind of that bluish purple. She's just gorgeous. And then, but wait, there's more. Hold on, let me get her out. Probably should have prepared for this, huh? All right, let's move Miss Starr out of the way. And so in the first update, we had one that was in bloom, but look at her now. I'm in bloom and bud. So this one is the Japan Evergreen. Look at that, delicate white. And again, she looks kind of yellow. She's actually more of a green, but look at the white accent on there. That is just gorgeous. And I'll post a picture of what I see. And it may be true on the screen, but kind of for me, she looks a little yellow. But oh, there you go. You can kind of see the more green on there now. But isn't she pretty? And then my little rose over here. I can see why they call her Blue Star. Like I said, under the Barina light, she kind of has that purple look to her. But when you take her out of the Barina light, there we go. Like I said, in real life, it's more of that bluish purple. It's not that pink purple. But oh my goodness, just beautiful. And Miss Abenensis Inscriptiosis back there has decided to start another spike and has yet to bloom off of the 3 that she has. So maybe in a few months we'll get to see that. Maybe not. We'll see. Fingers crossed. Y'all pray for me. I really want to see those blooms now that she's got 4 spikes. Come on. You can give us something. All right, guys. That is it for March, and we will see you on the next one.